Hey everyone, today I am doing my law and policy presentation on the analysis of CET4 tests in Chinese universities. So first of all, what is the CET4? It stands for College English Test 4. Most universities in China require all non-English majors, so that's all sorts of science majors, it can be business majors, it can be music, history, whatever. They need to pass this test in order to graduate. This is not a requirement of the Ministry of Education. This is actually a requirement of the individual universities. There's also the CET6, which is not a requirement for undergraduates, but is important for applying to graduate school, completing a master's program, and obtaining certain jobs. 10% of a student's total course credits must include college English curriculum, which is about 4 hours per week, or maybe 4 18-week semesters. Let's go into the history of the CET4 test. In 1987, it was introduced. 1999, the spoken English test was added. In 2006, the proportion of the listening test increased from 20% to 35%. In 2007, only students currently enrolled in university can take the test. In 2012, it was the first time that the spoken portion of the test was given by a computer, and that is still how it's done today. And in 2013, the structures were completely aligned between CET4 and CET6. So they are organized completely the same, except the CET6 has more difficult content, questions, and requirements. Let's quickly go into the test components. We have listening, reading, writing, and translation. There is also a separate optional spoken test that is not required for graduation and does not count towards the non-spoken CET test. The spoken test includes pre-recorded questions and is not face-to-face with an examiner. All right, now let's look at a sample test. So here we have a sample test of CET4. Here it's just the writing and listening comprehension sections. For writing, write 30 minutes to write an essay, 120 to 180 words based on this little comic strip here. It's interesting to note that this comic strip is actually written by an American cartoonist named Randy Glassbergen. So they get a lot of the materials in the CET4 tests from all over, newspapers, magazines, radio broadcasts, wherever. Here we have a sample test of CET6, which is more difficult than CET4, but the structure is exactly the same. But this gives you an idea of also the multiple choice questions for the listening section on both CET4 and CET6. So right now, I would like to look at some perspectives from students. I heard a variety of views and opinions from them. Many of them say that the CET test should not be required for everyone, especially those who do not plan on using English in their careers. Some say that it's good motivation for studying English if you focus on studying English in order to take the CET test. It is required by many companies to either pass CET4 or get a certain high score. It is not necessary, however, for a lot of domestic companies. That is to say, companies that do not deal in foreign trade or work with other foreign organizations or anything like that. Foreign international trade companies may require a high CET6 score. A lot of students feel that the CET4 is just frosting on cake for resumes. It just makes the resumes look good. They do say, however, that by studying for CET4, their vocab, reading, writing, listening, and a couple of them even said oral skills improved, but in general, it didn't really help them to communicate in English, as studying for CET4 is, of course, exam-oriented and not communication-oriented, and is not so practical. All right, now let's look at some teachers' perspectives. I heard a variety of perspectives from my Chinese colleagues. They said in general that the CET4 is actually a good thing, improves their students' English skills, and it's a fair and easy way to judge English levels. Unfortunately, they feel that the pass-fail system of CET4 gives students a false impression of their English ability, meaning students may feel if they pass CET4, their English is great, when actually it may not be. If they fail CET4, they may think their English is terrible, when in fact they're just not good at taking tests. So it assesses how they study for a test instead of their actual language proficiency, and it makes learning in class less fun, especially when lesson plans are based on studying for the CET4 and passing the CET4. Some teachers may offer extra classes as the CET4 approaches. It's interesting to note that the former Deputy Minister of Education in China, Qi Di-wu, found this test to be ineffective at assessing a student's communication skills. So yes, the Chinese government does understand that the CET tests are not completely effective. What's my personal perspective? Well, I feel that it has a low impact on my courses. I don't base my courses on studying for the CET4 tests at all, but I do feel that there could be some indirect impact. For example, if students focus a lot on studying for CET4, they may focus less on studying and completing assignments for my course. And I feel that it's kind of misleading passing the CET4. Universities and companies may see, oh wow, you passed CET4, you passed CET6, your English must be great. In fact, maybe it's not. The students may not even know how to communicate basic things in spoken English, right? And what if you're just bad at taking tests? So I kind of feel that the CET4 and 6 tests, their value is actually low. If a student tells me that they pass CET4 or 6, I don't think it really matters that much, as opposed to if they tell me that I got a really good score on a more internationally recognized English test like IELTS or TOEFL, I would be a lot more impressed with that. Alright guys, here are my references, and if you have any questions about my presentation, please don't hesitate to ask.